How y'all doing? We about to have our cups and coffee situation. Hey y'all. Lord have mercy. I don't know how to pin a comment, but we gonna get started. I hope y'all are all right. We're gonna be talking about cups. Can you tell me if you can hear me? That would be great. Can you let me know in the comments if you can hear me? I want to make sure the audio is good. We're gonna be talking about cups, menstrual cups, and I have a cup. It's no coffee in there. It's water. But if you can hear me, please let me know. Can hear. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Today I'm going to share about my cups, my little connection, right? I have about 10. Oh, awesome. Thank you. I have about 10, and if I'm sniffling, it's not because of the Rona. It's because I have allergies and a sinus problem, but not the Rona. Yes, this is my collection of cups. I have about 10. I also have some that I've not used and some that, just not used. So I have, I hear them coming up the stairs. I also have ones like I said, this one that from the Honey Pot Co., which I haven't used yet. I just haven't, but I have the size number 2, which we'll get into a second why they have 2 different sizes. So in general, if you are new to cups, can you please let me know? Say yes or something. If you're new to cups, and hi everybody that's coming in. If you're new to the concept of a menstrual cup, please just let me know. I am going to give a very, very, very brief, hello everybody. I'm going to give a very brief history of what the cups are about, okay? Because they've actually been around for quite some time. Let me stop and say who I am first. I just realized this. Maybe y'all don't know who I am. My name is Tiffany Stewart. I am a certified holistic health coach. I am the owner of my lifestyle wellness blog, itsmeladyg.com. Also on my accounts, whatever platforms that you may see me on. I'm also the host of a podcast, What in the Wellness with Tiffany, and a bunch of other stuff. Mom of 2. Lady that likes to talk about menstrual cups and embarrassing shit on the internet. But it shouldn't be embarrassing. That's why I like talking about it, because I think that we too often have not been, there's too much shame having to do with women's health stuff, and I hate it. And that's why I talk about stuff that needs to be talked about. So, like I mentioned, I have about 10 cups in general. You don't need this many cups. Of course, by me being on the internet, people send me stuff and I'll just buy stuff because I want to review them and, just to give a review about it or my opinion. Not that my opinion makes the world go around at all, but that's why I have this many. But you don't need this many at all. There's certain companies that actually sell a duo pack or something that you can try both sizes out, because most of them have a size 1 and a size 2, and you can try both sizes out, and obviously you can't return it once you return it. And people always get put off by the fact that it's a bit of an investment when you first buy a menstrual cup, because if I think about it, this is probably about $200 worth of cups right here. It sounds crazy. Okay. It sounds crazy. But again, it says because some of the companies send it to me because, of what I do, talk about stuff on the internet. But once you buy a cup, which is usually around $30 to $40 for one, you can have that cup for up to a year or more. Some people, if you properly care for it, some people have their cups up to 10 years. The first cup that I have ever started with or tried was a Diva Cup. And that's kind of what it's like how a brand that people just kind of refer to cups in general, and they'll be like, oh, a Diva Cup. When really Diva Cup is just one brand. Okay. It's almost like how we, call Band-Aids, any Band-Aids, a Band-Aid, that's what we refer to it as. But the word Band-Aid is actually just a brand. It's just a brand. It's not, all of them aren't Band-Aids. You get what I'm saying? But you understand. But they were originally made, I have some notes here. They were originally made in the 40s. and made of different materials. All of them are now, for the most part, made with medical grade silicone. And I'll tell you in a minute why it's made with silicone. But people think, and they're right in thinking, that cups in general have a lower risk of getting toxic shock syndrome, which is a bacteria that you can get within your, reproductive system based on you using mostly using a couple of things. It's a lot of a cluster of things that could happen from it, but it's from using tampons and things that have just synthetic materials in it, like the polyester and stuff in conventional tampons. They are like a breeding ground for bacteria. Okay, so that's why toxic shock syndrome has a higher correlation to using those types of things. Also, there's a couple of other reasons why people may get toxic shock syndrome, which include, like, if there's too much fluid collected in either, whether it be the tampon or it be a cup, like you have it in way too long, because just in general, it's not good as far as being a breeding ground. It's common sense. But also, if you use a tampon that has a higher absorbency than what you need, then, like, if you kind of bleed not so bad and you use like a super extra tampon, then your body is absorbing all of the chemicals that's in the tampon itself. So the thing about tampons is that you are not only, the tampon is not only absorbing the fluids from you, you are absorbing the toxins and I jumped to conclusion, but absorbing the chemicals that's in the tampons too. Okay, so it's both. So you want to think about that. Is that like, hello everybody just coming in? That's the thing about the tampon. That's why a lot of people may feel like really dry or irritated or something when they use tampons sometimes, because hello everybody, we talking about cups and tampons right now. Because of the chemicals that's in the tampons itself, they end up being like a breeding ground for bacteria. And that's why some people may just find once they switch from different, like, conventional tampons and pads and things like that to ones that are either more just naturally based, whether it be organic cotton tampons or anything like that, or if they use like a cloth pad. Like a cup is just one of the many options, not many, but a fair amount of options that are less toxic than using conventional pads and tampons that are out on the market. I'm not gonna call any names, excuse me, but the ones that we grew up with, you know what I mean, with all the fancy commercials and all that stuff, and ads and the thing. Okay. So yes, if you have any comments, please put it in, and I have a bad short-term memory. So I might answer everything and read the comments right there. I really wanted to try as I have fibroids and started using naturopaths 5 years ago. Now, okay, we're going to get to how it actually works. And, even with, yes, never going back to tampons. Okay. I haven't used a tampon in years. I actually started using a Diva Cup first, like I mentioned before. I'm going to get back to what I was saying in a minute, but I started using a Diva Cup first. No, that's not true. I started this whole venture by using what they called it. It's like the rings they have now. It was called, the soft cup. That's what they call it. But now that I know better, okay, because that's how it works. You just do the best you can when you know what you're doing, or as you go down the whole rabbit hole. Exactly. No more tampon. But a tampon is a choice, okay? Just the overall, there's a lot of different choices other than using conventional feminine care products, because first of all, they don't tell you all the ingredients that's on. Pull out. Okay, we're gonna use names. Okay. Okay, we're gonna get into it in a minute. Thank you for sharing though. This is a safe space, kinda, on the internet. The reason why I wanted to do it on IG Live is because I've tried in the past to try to pull people off of the platforms that they're already on a regular basis, and it doesn't really work out so well. So that's why I say, let me just go, like, usually I have something and invite people and want to go on like Zoom or some other platform. But I realized that we just gonna have to work where people are already at. And y'all on IG, so we're gonna work on IG. But I used the soft cup initially, and hello, when I used the soft cup, I don't even have it anymore. Now that I think about it, I don't have a soft cup, and I actually don't have a Diva Cup anymore. But a soft cup is like hey everybody, a soft cup is like a ring, and they still sell them. They still sell them in Target and other places and online. It's a ring, but it's a plastic ring, okay? And in it, it has, I think it's plastic too, like the soft part. It looks almost like a diaphragm, I guess. And you bend it and then you put it in, and you can, it collects the same way that a cup does. But the thing is that once I realized that it was plastic, and I was trying to get away from having like heat and plastic together, like, you know, because there's just so many questionable, so many questionable chemicals in plastic in general. So I stopped using that, but it's still available on the market, and some people still like it. And to be honest, when I first started using any of these things, I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna put this big old cup in me. It's not gonna, it look crazy. And also the Diva Cup itself is a lot more rigid than these other cups, I must say, than any of these. That's what I remember. I stopped using the Diva Cup once I got pregnant with my daughter, and just because. And I think I needed to replace it anyway, but I just didn't like how firm it was. It was like too firm. And even though it kind of, the stuff kind of softens up when it's in, I just didn't like it. Like, I could feel it very much, and I didn't like the way that it felt, okay? But these other options are really good because once they're in, I don't feel them at all if it's in right, okay? And it is a practice, okay, to get it in right. So, the cups don't release, the cups doesn't increase risk of bacteria compared to other options that are on there, you know, compared to the tampons that are used or made with any sort of synthetic material or anything. You just want to stay away from the ones, even pads, that have synthetic material. And also, if you're going to use a pad or a tampon, look for ones that have the actual ingredients on the box. Like a lot of the ones like Always and stuff, like you'll see the old school ones not old school, I'm sounding real bougie. I know you. Hello. Oh, family. The ones that we've been using forever, like Always and stuff like that, Always, when you turn the label around, they actually don't have the ingredients at all on what's in it. The ones that we've been using before, they're now starting to make ones that are more organic, not made with chlorine, not made with fragrance and stuff like that. They're making that now because people are saying that they want that. So, and because they know of the problems that can happen from it, that increases all sorts of things. When you have the fragrance, more conventional ones of tampons and pads are made with a bleaching process that makes dioxins, which are carcinogenic. Okay, and we got all that stuff near our private parts. Why? And the thing is that now that they see that we're like, no, we don't want that anymore, now they're making it, and it's like, once I see both of them on the shelf, even if you don't use a cup, okay, even if you don't use a cup at all, and you just want to be like, okay, I just want to use a better option than the pads and things like that, because this whole cup business is too much for me, just get ones that actually say what's on the label, okay? I have just a couple that are here, and just because I had them here, not because these are the only ones that I may have. Even over here, I'm not going to go get it yet, but I have the Honey Pot Co. I have their pads, the regular pads. I also have here Royale. They have like a whole monthly thing. You can get a monthly box on Amazon. I'm going to put that in the email. If y'all haven't signed up through the link in my bio, you can do it afterwards for the email, and I'm going to send a email with all of the links to all this stuff that I'm talking about, all of it, so you can go
Here's Steven.
So I felt like I'm live. Okay. Itself, not because and I've gone, you know, if I've put it in correctly, there are no leaks in that whole time. Even over here, I'm not gonna go get it yet, but I have the Honey Pot Co. I have their pads, the regular pads. I also have here Real. They have like a whole monthly thing. You can get a monthly box on Amazon. I'm gonna put that in the email. If y'all haven't signed up through the link in my bio, you can do it afterwards for the email, and I'm gonna send a email with all of the links to all this stuff that I'm talking about, all of it, so you can go and check out yourself. You can go and do that once we're finished. Don't leave yet. But this one, Rael, it has organic cotton. These are pads. We're gonna get to the cups, but I just want to make sure that I'm covering most of the bases. I haven't even opened this one yet, but it looks just like this particular one. It looks just like a regular pad. Okay, it's just not using other stuff. Yes, I will get into that. But yes, use ones, find regular disposable ones that have better ingredients, that actually show what is used in what's actually used in the whole production, everything like that. Like the Honey Pot Co. shows exactly the ingredients that's in the product. Just like this one, it says, these are liners, and you can see here, hopefully you can, it just says the ingredients are 100% organic cotton, processed 100% totally chlorine free with no dyes and fragrances. And this is from Sustain. They had sent me these before. They sell these online and they sell these on other places. Anyway, but this whole cup business is too much. Then just get ones with better ingredients. But when it comes to cups, okay, silicone, all of the cups for the most part on the market now are made with medical grade silicone. Silicone does not support microbiology. They don't support bacteria. Okay, I can't even speak right now. So the bacterial growth is not possible with on the actual cup. Okay, if you keep it in too long, then that just naturally, because the pH in your body and stuff, you want to make sure that you change it often. I know that a lot of the places say that you can use it for up to 12 hours. I usually don't use a cup for up to 12 hours only because that's a long time. I mean, I'll do it if I have to, and I've gone, if I've put it in correctly, there are no leaks in that whole time, but you still want to change it as often as you can. Okay, so let's get into the actual cups. I have, as I mentioned, I have all of these. Three of these are the same brand, and these are other brands. So of the ones that I have, all of them are, you can see they're squishy. Okay, that's the thing I didn't like about this Diva Cup. Oh, no problem. This will be back. This will keep up. The live will keep up for 24 hours. I think it does. So you can go and check that out. I'm going to try and see if I can download it so I can put it somewhere else. But anyway, thank you for coming. The Diva Cup is much more rigid, and that's why I didn't like about it. But all of these are very, very squishy. The one that is the largest, okay, now, you're probably like, why does it have to be large? They come in two sizes in general. They all come in general, most of the brands, they do a 1 and a 2. A 1 is usually for someone that's, I think, up to 30 something years old and maybe never had a kid before. They also, some places have been making 1s for teens as well, because they're just considering your lady parts and how big or small, based on, just life, what happens. So this here, I have in the thing, that's a cup, the number 2 from the Honey Pot Co. That's a number 2. This particular one is from the brand Glad Rags. I think that's what they make. And this is intentionally made to be a bigger cup to hold more. Okay, this is the largest one that I've almost ever seen. Okay, so if you are like a heavier bleeder or something, you may not have to get such a big cup, but you might want to keep it in mind. And it is still very flexible, and once it's once it's inside correctly, you really don't feel, that it feels like a shot glass. But I've worn it just fine, and all cups have this like little nub at the bottom. They all usually have a nub at the bottom, and they have these air holes on the side. You can kind of see it right there. All of them, different brands have different bigger air holes. Like this one, you can kind of see them. And some brands make them in colors, and some make them just with clear. But the bottom part, as you see, they all, like I mentioned, they all have a bottom part, and they all have the holes. The holes is to help to lock a seal once it's in. And if it's inside correctly, then there will be no leaks. Okay. But it does take a bit of practicing. Now, the good thing about, as I mentioned, about cups in general is that you can have them for such a long time, and the distribution of cups has really been instrumental in helping girls, even internationally, just get to school, because we kind of take for granted the fact that we have disposable options around here. And just having this for a whole year, that's enabled some girls just to go to school. So there's certain brands that do dedicate themselves to donating cups and money to other places so that they're able to provide these cups for girls. So, you're also doing a good job. Good deed. Now, let's get into like this brand. These three are all from the same brand. This is from the brand Saalt, Saalt. You can tell that can you tell that they are different size? Like this is the regular size. They don't have 1 and 2. They have regular and not regular. I don't know. Or small and regular. That's what they have. This is the small. This is the regular. Okay. This one is the one, being that of my age, I'm 38 years old and I've had 2 children. I opt usually for either size 2 or the not small version. Like this one I think was from the brand Sustain. This one was too small for me. How did I know? Because once I put it in, I leaked all the time. It just leaked. Okay. So you want to consider that where you are in your life, and if you've had kids or how many or whatever it is. But they usually give guidance on the website as to which one you should get. Now, this brand, again, back to Saalt, they make the same thing, all 3 cups, okay? And this brand is actually sold in Target and on their website. And I'm going to send you, if you want to get a discount, they'll give you 25% off for all your purchases from Saalt. They are the brand that, this is my favorite cup right now. This is the brand the cup that I like the most out of all of them. And it's because it's just the most comfortable. But in general, you can tell that they're all made with the same like bell design, and that's made because it wants you to just fit correctly once it's in. And it has, most of them that I've seen, or I like the ones that are the best and the best fitting, have a bit of a flare shape at the top, because once it opens, once it's in, it just creates like a airtight seal. Ones that don't, like this one from this company, Glad Rags, okay? It was good, but I didn't like that it didn't have that shape at the top. You see what I'm saying? Because that allowed for more leakage. Plus, I like ones that have more of a grippy side to them. And this one just seemed to move around a little bit more. This one from Saalt has a nice, like, really grip on it. You can kind of hear it. So it sticks around where it needs to be once it's placed pretty well. Okay. This one is the soft version. So it's the softest like cup that I've come across yet. And this one is not sold in stores, but it's available in their, on the website. So this one, like I mentioned, is my favorite one just because of how soft and the way that it fits. Now, These two are sold together as a duo pack. I wish more companies did that so that you can know what size, because that's what the thing that most people don't know what size to get. So you can know what size that you need. Now, so they have both of them, and it's like $40 for the duo pack. It's sold together, and you can pick which one works for you of the two of the ones in the pack, okay? So there's that. And you can see how the size, like look at the size. That's why this one didn't work for me as a 30-something-year-old with 2 kids. Didn't work for me. Didn't work well. Plus, sometimes I don't really like ones that have a longer stem. Some people do, and it's good for those who are new. And we'll get into how do you put it in and take it out in a minute. It's good because you can grab it and feel it and take it out. Because people are like, what's going to happen? It's just floating around in there once it's in. And I'm here to remind you that your insides, they are not like endless. They're not endless, and it's only really a small amount of room that's in the canal part. Okay, so it's not gonna get lost. It's not gonna go up like on your get trapped on your cervix. Like there's some ones. There's this brand. Which brand is that again? That's bad. I don't remember. This one, I will have to come back with what brand it is. But this one I did like because of how flared it really is at the top. It's quite flared, and it has the bigger holes on it. So it really gave a good seal, but I didn't like the long stem it had. So you can cut it off. Like just go real close to the base and cut it off. Like a lot of people cut it off. The one that I don't really have to with this soft one because it's so soft. Like I don't even feel it. So, but if you can always just cut off the stem. Some companies make them longer, some make them shorter. This one is from the company Super Jenny. Yeah, they have they're smart. They put their name on it. Super Jenny. But this one I liked because of the flare top, and it also has a measure on it. Okay. That's the thing. Okay, we're going to get into as far as how disgusted or not you may be from the whole process. Hey people. But this one has a measure. I don't know why you would want to measure how much fluid come out, but you can. And this one's made in US. They have this smaller size. I have bought this from like Zulily. And then it was on sale. But once I started to use it, it was just too small for me. Okay, I'm not gonna say I got a big old canal, but I had 2 kids, things change, and there are significant changes when you are older. Okay, so but see the difference in size between the two. So just keep it in mind. You can look at them through the packaging. That's why they make the packaging so transparent. Like this one here, I can open it from the Honey Pot Co. As I mentioned, like I think this one just hit the market. They have a size 1 and 2. Like I mentioned, this is a size 2. Let's see the size in comparison. Like this one is a larger cup. Just overall, this one's a larger cup. Like this one, just see how the difference in shapes that the companies have. There's a lot of different shapes. So you can buy a couple. This one from Honey Pot Co, I must say, is the cheaper of the ones that I've seen on the market. Okay. And it's new. It's a bit more firm. I do notice it here, and they do have the measurements on it, but you have to give a look at it. Okay. So as I mentioned, I have favorites as of now. As I mentioned, the Saalt cup, this one is my favorite. The Saalt Soft because of the shape. I like one that's a bit more wider. That's why I had liked about this one from Glad Rags. But as I mentioned, I don't like that it's not flared because the flare does help with the adhesion once it's in. And it's just more comfortable. It doesn't move around as much. So let's get into the how to put it in and how to take it out. Okay, so let's use this one, either one. So you're like, okay, so this big cup, where's it gonna go? Okay, it's gonna go in your vajayjay, and it's going to hold. It can hold liquid. You can actually, the good thing about using a cup is that you can actually look at the fluid. And if you don't know or haven't studied, I would suggest you looking up the different meanings of the colors of your fluid, okay? Because if you have a darker fluid at a certain time and a lighter fluid, like if it's not at the right time or whatever it is, it can actually indicate hormonal issues that you might not be acknowledging, okay? Like maybe your progesterone levels aren't correct, or, your estrogen level, or it's considered the 5th vital sign, okay? So having this and being able to look at it, and knowing how much, if you are a heavy bleeder or something, some people say that once they stop using conventional, feminine products, whether, not even only the cup, but if you switch to a like organic, or just non-toxic option, some people bleed less, all that's anecdotal, but it's still real nonetheless. Either way, having a look at it is very important. So this one, there are a couple of different folds, as they call them. They're the ones that I mainly use 2. Okay. There's literally I Googled it because I wanted to go look. There's 9 different folds. I'm not going to go over all 9. I'm going to go over 3. Okay. That I've seen people use. Well, I've seen people, when I ask, they use the most. So the first one, you're going to fold it. Every time that you put it in, you're not going to put it in just like this. That's crazy. You're going to fold it. There's different ways to fold it. And the whole point of folding it when you fold it is to try to ensure that it opens up enough once it goes in, that it opens up and that it will create a seal. Because once you have too much oxygen or anything in there, that can contribute to, just antibacterial growth or anything like that, and leaks. So what you want to do, the 2 ones that I mainly use are what they call the C fold. Okay. This is the first one, the C fold. You see, you literally take it. Let's see if I can do this the other way. And you fold it like this. Okay. Now, when you have it, you're going to put it like you're sitting on the toilet, and you're going to put it in this way. Okay. Put it in this way. And once you put it in, you don't have to stick your whole hand in there. Once you put it in and you feel it start to get in there kind of easy, and just in there more than your fingers can go, you're going to let go and it opens up. Okay. Once it's in, and you're going to want it to be kind of sitting low in the canal, you can turn it a little bit. Okay. To adjust it to where you don't feel it anymore, and also that it helps to secure the lock, the airtight lock in there. Okay. Then you can get up, and if you get up, once you get up, it's going to be open like this, basically inside, or kind of to a tilt, because it's supposed to be like your cervix. It would be up here somewhere, and it's going to just point towards it. So what you can do is, like I mentioned, some people leave the stem on. With this one, I am able to leave the stem on because I don't feel it. Some people have it where the stem kind of comes out of the lady parts, okay? Comes out, and like this one, which one was it? Like this one. See how this one has such a long stem? Okay, that's why this one was not comfortable for me. Plus, it's like stem with ridges, like that are harder. Again, it's cool for some people, but for me personally, I didn't like it. But if you feel it, coming out of your lady parts and you want to cut it off, you can, or you can leave it there. Okay. Or you can kind of adjust it up a little bit to where it's sitting higher so that it's not coming out. Okay. You can do that. Okay. But again, that's the first fold. You're going to, when you're sitting on the toilet, wash your hands. That's the first thing. Wash your hands. We're going to get over how to wash this in a second. But we'll get there. You can apply that part to here, but you're going to be sitting on the toilet and you had to wash your hands now completely and thoroughly. We're already out here washing our hands for 20 seconds, right? Then you're going to fold it. Not this, obviously it would be this way, but I'm doing it for demonstration. You fold it. This is the first fold, the C fold. Okay. So That's the first fold. And it would be sitting towards you, right? And you're putting it in this way into your body, okay? Then once it gets in there and your fingers are not like there too much, like your fingers can only go so far, you're going to open it. Oh, I thought it was going to drop. Open it and it's going to pop open, and you can move it a little bit to adjust it to where it's more comfortable, okay? Now, all the brands and everything say that you take your finger, okay, and you make sure that it's sitting in there correctly and that there's no gaps. So obviously, this whole process is not for someone who is, number one, who is squeamish about being near their lady parts, okay? This whole thing is meant for you to know more about your whole body. And yes, sometimes stuff can get on your hands, okay? But let me remind you that guys touch their genitals many, many times a day, okay? Many, many times a day when they go to the bathroom, okay? And some of them do not wash their hands, okay? I'm just trying to put this all in perspective, okay? Just saying. So don't, and yes, you're washing your hands before and you're washing your hands after, okay? But that's that. So that's the one fold. There's also what they call the punch down. That's when you take, I'm going to see if I could, okay, there we go. You take it and you kind of punch it down and you squeeze it like this. See, now I'm on here. I'm not going to do it right? Punch it down, you squeeze it so that it looks like this, okay? So you're kind of putting your finger down, punching it down, and then you're squeezing and getting your finger. Feel it, coming out of your lady parts, and you're putting it in the same way, right? So let's say I was going this way. Same way, and then you're going to let it go, and it opens up, okay? And then you turn it, okay, to secure the seal, as they say. Then you just want to, like, most of the time I kind of get up to see how it's feeling, and if it's like too low or if not, then you adjust if you need to. If you need to take it out, wash your hands again. You can rinse it off if you've already sanitized it. We'll get into that in a second. And you can reinsert. Okay. Some people put it in and take it out in the shower. That's an option. Because let's say if you are going to, empty it, once you've already had it in and you're going to empty it, you're just going to take it out. We'll get over taking it out in a minute, right? Take it out and you're just dumping into the toilet. Okay. So there's the C fold the C fold and the punch down. Then there's some people that do another fold, a 7 fold. Okay. I don't do this. I've never actually done this. I just researched it because of this whole live. But some people do this. They take it and then they kind of fold it like this and they go like that. Regardless, as you see here, the whole point is trying to make it smaller and then making it easier so that it can pop open once you get it in. Okay. So regardless, whether it be the C fold, there we go, C fold. Okay. There's that. Or you do the punch down. Okay. This one is much easier when I'm actually in the motion, but now that I'm actually here, it's a mess, right? So it's like that. That's the punch down, pops open. Then there's the 7 fold, and you can Google other folds. I don't need to be that fancy. I need to just find one that works for me that I can do very quickly and get it in. Then the 7 fold, I guess it's like 7, I guess. So there's that. Then you put it in, turn it a little bit, and you want to make sure there's no gaps between your body and the cup itself. And you also want to make sure that once you get up, it's comfortable for you. If the stem is out, maybe you want to readjust it, or if it's too long in general, you can just go ahead and cut the whole stem off. When you're going to take it out, so it's in there, like it's in, right? And you wash your hands again, okay? Usually I try to do this once I get back home, personally. Once I get back home, or when I'm in a place that, and we'll get to the options if you're not in one that has a sink, like a stall that has a sink. Regardless, wash your hands. You're going to have the cup in like that. You're going to pinch the bottom, and you can kind of move it a little bit like that, like like this is your canal, right? You're gonna go in, it should be up like that, okay? You're gonna go pinch it at the bottom and move it out, kinda, and then you dump in the toilet. That's really how it is. And then, you know, it's not lost or anything like that. Some people pull the stem to try to move it, because sometimes, like, say if you're sleeping, it's gonna move up further. So usually if I'm sleeping, I kind of, once I get up, you know, out of the bed, I kind of move around to kind of get things going, okay, and let gravity take, you know, do its thing, and it'll come down a little bit more, and then I will go pinch the bottom and move it out, and then dump. That's what we do. So some people, like I mentioned, if you have a longer stem, it's easier to pull it, and then you can put it down. Then as far as cleaning it, now when you first get it, like this one that I just opened, with all of them really, but any of them, you're gonna take it and you can put it in a pot, okay? I have a pot, one pot that's specifically for cups, okay? And I don't have it anywhere near my regular cooking pots or anything like that. But you put it in a pot, just like anything with silicone. You're gonna put it in some water in the pot, and you're going to boil it. Boil it for, 5 minutes? Usually it has it on the instructions how long you should boil it for to sanitize it for your first time use, and also for any time you want to clean it in between, like maybe between periods, or let's say if you take it out even and it's, you just want to clean it, okay? You can clean it between uses by just rinsing it in some hot water or something. And there are some companies that sell cleaners, usually like a plant-based cleaner that you can just wash the cup or something like that, or you can rinse it really, really well in hot water, like during your period. But when you initially get it, you're going to take it and you're going to boil it. So again, like I mentioned, I have a specific pot that I use just for these things, and I will boil it in some water for like 5 minutes or whatever the package says. And then you take it out, let it cool completely, and then you can store it for when you need it. And then when you use it, just rinse it, or whatever it is, and just get to using it again. So how often do I change it? Usually I try to change it every personally, 6 to 8 hours, okay? Like if I'll use it for when I go to bed. So once I go to bed, I have it, I'll take a shower before I go to bed. And then I will put it in, and in the morning I will empty it out and rinse it out really, really well. I use a plant-based cleaner they make specifically for cups. And then I put it back in and then go about my day. And then, same thing all day long. Now, I want to make sure I got all the questions. There are different sizes for the cups, yes. As I mentioned, there's usually 1 or 2. And each brand will have guidance as to why, what on their website, they usually say how to figure out what size you are, okay? You want to opt for that, or you can go for some brands that actually have multiple sizes in a pack so that you're able to choose, okay? And just see what works well for you. If you have a pretty heavy flow, when it seemed like before I did have much heavier of a flow, especially I didn't use it initially postpartum because you're not supposed to put anything in there, but I did, once I started getting my cycle back, I did have a heavy flow. And this cup, when I do have a heavy flow, I just have to change it more often. At this point, I don't really love the feeling of the fluids when I have regular pads on anymore. And I did all regular cooking pots or anything like that. But you put it in a pot, your cups that are used when you have a heavier flow and can hold more, you might want to look into one like that. A really good resource for figuring out cups and the different types of cups and the different brands, because there's a whole lot more than just these different brands of cups that are out there, is putacupinit.com. They're on here too. I can't type it. I'll send it in an email or something, but they're on here. Put a cup in it. And that's their Instagram handle, and they have a whole website, and they have very good videos and guidance as to how to pick what cup is good for you and the different brands and which ones are bigger than others, and not, you know, the different sizes of the different brands out there, and which ones flare more and which ones are wider and which one might be better for a bigger flow. So that might be a good resource for you. Oh yeah, I have to try the NYX panties. I was I guess I'm still technically a ambassador for Thinx, but they had a lot going on, and I'm gonna leave that there. But you have fibroids and started using natural pads 5 years ago, but now I want to use the cup. How does it actually? Okay, so yeah, we went over how to actually work. So like even with this one with it's a bigger cup. The folds are the same. Okay, the folds are the same. That's the C fold. This is the punch down. Oh, I'm sorry. I should put it this way. That's the punch down for the bigger cup. Okay, it looks crazy as far as big, but once it's in, you really don't feel it. And that's the 7 fold, I think it's called. Okay. The whole point is to try to just get it smaller, and then it will flare out once it's in, and then you turn it up. Okay, turn it up. Yeah, but what I want to say is, if you do have fibroids and you are interested in cups, I want to say be mindful of the type of cup that you get, because there are some cups that are more rigid than others, and so. Like I haven't even shared it. Like I have small fibroids. I've developed when I like one small fibroid. I developed when I was pregnant with my daughter. That's a whole other conversation. And whatever. But if you have any sort of discomfort that's down there and that makes you tender sometimes, you may want to go with a softer cup. Okay, just in general. This one, I really like this one because even before, like once, you know, if I did have pain with a fibroid, I really don't feel it with this. And if you have pain with a fibroid, then just a cup, if it's really, really bad, a cup might not be the best option for you. Okay. There are other options. Like I was going to say here, some people, if they want to have like the dynamic duo, I'm making sure I got all the questions. Yes. If you do have the dynamic, if you want to make a really sustainable duo, okay, that's what I'm going to say, of buying something and then you won't really have to be exposed to toxins at all, and you can just always have supplies on hand. Some people get a cup and a cloth pad, okay? Not a cloth pad, you get a set of them. And you can have them for years, okay? Both of them for years. And that let's say if you have you do an initial investment of $50, $60, okay? And then you don't have to spend any more for 2-3 years at least. You know, it really is cheaper as opposed to going to buy disposables for, who knows, it's like $8 every month to get the disposable things. So just think about it. But that's an option if you did want to. Like, this is a whole other class dealing with this. But overall, I've enjoyed using cups. Again, I use a combination of things. Like sometimes I will use a disposable pad if I only for whatever reason, but I'll use a cloth pad and a cup together, and that kind of has me set, and I don't have to worry about having anything. Especially now with all this stuff going on, I hear people saying that there are like a short of different feminine products that's on the shelves. So this might be a time to explore the options that's out there. I'm going to have a review eventually for this cup from the Honey Pot Co. It's new, and it's, as I mentioned, it's the cheaper of the options that's available, and it's also kind of bigger. Like the cups have different sizes. So if you have like a heavier flow, like this cup, I don't even remember what the company was called. I think it was like Hesta or something like that. This would not be right for you because you'll be changing it all the time. Okay. And if you're a heavier bleeder, this is not the right option for you. You may want to get one that's a little bit bigger, and they have different sizes. So you might have to, see what works well for you. And if you end up purchasing, let's say 2 cups, Yes, that might be like $70, but you can, switch up between them, or, just use which one makes you feel good at the time. Not makes you feel good, but what is the most comfortable at the time. And then, you don't have to buy anything for another year or 2 or 3. Okay? Do you have any more questions? I hope that I didn't sip this cup at all. But I do enjoy talking about non or less toxic options that's out there, because there's so much miseducation about things that have to do with women's health. And there's so many women that simply, like, they'll have all sorts of issues, yeast infections and things like that, and then they switch to a more not a less toxic option to use for their feminine products, and a lot of those things just go away. I mean, it happens all the time. So if you do have issues, you might want to consider it. Just every time in the aisles at Target or wherever it is, and I see that they're getting the more conventional ones, like the Always, the Kotex, and things like that aren't the special ones, that the new ones that they're making with less toxins in it, I always want to like run up to them and be like, do you know what you're doing? But that's it. Okay? Thank you so much. If you don't have any other questions, I'm going to be wrapping up right now. The pointy part, do you leave it out kind of like a string of... Some people do. You can leave it out. If it doesn't bother you, you can leave it out. If it bothers, it's made to be cut off if it needs to be cut off. If it does bother you, then you can cut it off. Or you can readjust it to where it's higher in the canal, and then it doesn't come out anymore. Like, it doesn't hang out. Okay? But if it bothers you, you can cut it off or cut it short. Just make sure when you do, watch the way you cut it, because sometimes, like ones that are really rigid, if you do like a straight cut and you don't kind of like make the bottom part rounded off when you cut it, it can be uncomfortable. So you just want to play around with it, but you don't have to keep it on. You can cut it off or you can leave it on. Okay. I like ones that have shorter pointy parts, because you don't feel it at all. Okay. Or, ones that are just softer. So if you have any other questions, you can definitely leave me a DM or you can email me at tiffany@itsmeladyg.com, and I will send out the email with the different options that I spoke about. Okay. And yeah, this was fun and awkward. I'm also going to send out the links to the non... Yes. Well, okay. I'm going to send out the links to the non-cup options too. Okay. The first time you used it, did you wear a pad? Oh yeah. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I wear like a pad or a liner with it, just because for reassurance. I usually wear I either have a reusable pad that I wear with it, or just a liner, a disposable liner that you can buy, with it, to see if it, yes. Okay. So yes, because it's going to take practice. Like it took me a good, like, obviously you're not gonna have your period for a whole month, but the first time I started using it, it took like 1.5 cycles for me to like get it to where I felt confident with it. And then once I got it, I was, it was cool. And every now and then you mess up. Maybe I'm rushing or something, and I don't put it in correctly, and then I'll have a leak. But in general, it's pretty good. Okay. But I do use some sort of backup protection with it. Some people use like Thinx or Nix, menstrual underwear with it too. Or you can use a pad, not a pad, but rather a liner, or a very, very thin pad. Okay. Just till you feel comfortable. There's some people that go out there and they wearing thongs and stuff with it. I'm not that brave. I'm not that brave. I like to have a backup option, just, because you never know what can happen. But if there are no other questions, I am going to head out. Okay? Oh, this went an hour. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll do this again another day. Maybe for pads or something like that. But thank you so much, and I'll see you later.